Yeah.
I'm on both sides. I think one quit, and I think the other one is
quit.
and the other one I think this is a fucking cheater, bro.
Now, all the MMA critics and every expert and every person that's never fought a goddamn day in their life. I've seen streamers online. Some guy was calling him all kinds of names and this and that. The man looked like he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, and he's talking shit about Tom Aspinall, okay? The heavyweight champion of the world, who is the best finisher in the UFC right now.
UFC 321 didn't prove to be exciting for most of the MMA pros and fans, but there is one guy who's completely entertained by the main event. Jon Jones was targeted a lot for ducking Tom Aspinall, but now, after Aspinall's eye poke against Cyril Gane has provided Jones with the opportunity to restore his legacy. Jon Jones is not missing this opportunity and trolling Tom Aspinall in every way possible. Jon Jones showed up to the DBX4 weigh-in on a horse wearing an eye patch, seemingly mocking Tom Aspinall after the eye poke incident.
I'm excited to be here. What's up, Nashville, Tennessee?
How do you have a better entrance than this to the White House, Johnny Bones?
We gotta do it right. We got the beautiful horse with the eye patch on. We're having a good night.
Here it is, DBX4. Let's get this party started.
Renato Moicano blasted Cyril Gane, calling him a cheater and accusing him of repeatedly eye-poking opponents, including in this fight. He said Gane has a pattern of doing it and expressed his frustration by even taking a shot at France. Moicano still believes Aspinall could have continued but chose to make what he called a business decision, thinking it was smarter to stop as the reigning champion. He added that fighting Gane with one eye would have been extremely risky given his striking skill, especially at heavyweight.
I think Cyril Gane did that multiple times.
Exactly.
In multiple fights, we have seen.
It was the second time in that fight.
Yeah.
So I think I've heard a lot of good ideas. I think instant point for the first eye poke no matter what, and then a percentage of purse on the second one in the same fight.
Whip him, brother. Being completely honest about Tom Aspinall, I think Cyril Gane is a fucking degenerate. He's a fucking cheater. You know?
How is he a degenerate, bro?
No, I don't know. I don't know that many words. You know, I'm just trying to have emphasis on what I'm saying. You know? And he's a fucking cheater, brother. He's fucking France, brother. I hate France.
Okay.
I think he could fight, you know, but I think he made a decision,
A business decision.
Yeah, because he thought, okay, because if he was Cyril Gane, he would not stop, because otherwise he's not gonna get the title shot.
Yeah.
But he's the champion. He's gonna make money as a champion.
Right.
So from what I think is, he could fight, but he chose not to do it.
But Cyril Gane is such a good striker. Like, to fight that guy with one eye is crazy, bro. Like, you're gonna get knocked out.
Yes, especially a heavyweight.
Yeah.
So
Renato Moicano also believes the way Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane fight ended was ideal for Jon Jones and Alex Pereira. He says the controversial finish gives ESPN more reason to promote Jon, suggesting the outcome might actually work in both Jones and Pereira's favor.
And do you think if Gane and Jon Jones rematch, do you think that fight would go totally differently now? Do you think Jones would still be able to get him to the ground and get him out?
it's probably different, you know, probably not the same. Yeah.
Well, Dana White said that.
But that doesn't matter.
No, I know.
Because in the end of the day, that's the thing. Now ESPN is promoting Jones even more.
And Jon Jones has to love this shit, bro.
Yeah.
It was the second best thing that could have happened for Jon Jones. The first best thing would have been Aspinall got knocked out and lost.
Yeah. I think was the best thing for Pereira.
Yeah.
You saw the video of him like.
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, Michael Bisping described the Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane fight as close and exciting, with both fighters bringing intensity early. He noted that Gane looked sharp, landing the cleaner shots and breaking Aspinall's nose, likely winning the first round. However, Bisping emphasized that it was still early in a 5-round fight and that true fitness is shown by how well a fighter recovers between rounds, not by tiring near the end of one.
It was a close fight. It was an entertaining fight. Both men were bringing it. Cyril Gane looked really good. Obviously, he landed that big right hand. It shattered the nose of Tom Aspinall. There was blood all over the face. And Cyril was landing more shots, okay? Would he have won that round? Yeah. He was going to win that one round, but there's 5 rounds in a championship fight and anything could have happened. Yes, it was looking good for Cyril early. He was able to stop a takedown and maybe Tom was starting to get a little bit tired. That doesn't matter because the way you prepare as an athlete is to empty the tank for every round and then to be able to fully recover in the 60-second time period that you have to break, okay? So getting tired at the end of a round doesn't matter. Can you recover in 60 seconds? That's what really matters, how quickly you recover. That's the sign of true fitness.
Michael Bisping blasted those criticizing Tom Aspinall, mocking online streamers who insulted the heavyweight champion despite never fighting themselves. He acknowledged that some fans think Aspinall shouldn't have said he couldn't see, but pointed out that if a fighter genuinely can't see, panic naturally sets in. Bisping stressed that in that moment, health matters more than the fight, reminding everyone that Aspinall was the victim of a foul and that the incident was caused by Cyril Gane's eye pokes.
In streamers online, some guy was calling him all kinds of names and this and that. The man looked like he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, and he's talking about Tom Aspinall, okay? The heavyweight champion of the world, who is the best finisher in the UFC right now. So, a lot of people saying, listen, he shouldn't have said, I can't see, okay? And granted, I understand that criticism because we know as fighters, if we say we can't see, the doctor is going to stop the fight. However, I said this on my podcast on Monday, what about this eventuality? What if you can't actually see and you're starting to panic and you're like, hold on a minute, never mind the fight, I can't see, right? That is very alarming. That is very worrying. And right there and then in that moment, you've got bigger fish to fry than the fight. And by the way, let's remember, he's the guy that's been fouled. Poking people in the eye is not allowed. That is a foul, okay? So it was Cyril Gane's fault that this happened in the first place.
Michael Bisping clarified that he wasn't criticizing Cyril Gane, praising him as an honorable and highly skilled fighter. However, he pointed out that Gane's fingers were extended and the eye poke was severe, going knuckle deep as seen in the slow-motion replay. Bisping revealed that Tom Aspinall returned to England for further examination at Cheadle Hospital, where doctors confirmed he still couldn't see out of his right eye, showing the seriousness of the injury.
I'm not criticizing Cyril Gane. I thought he looked really good. He's an honorable guy. He's a great fighter. I've got tremendous respect for him. But the fingers were out. They caught him. And as we saw on the slow-mo several times, it was deep. It was knuckle deep. And of course, everybody's got an opinion on this. Tom Aspinall has gone home to England. He's gone to Cheadle Hospital and he's had yet another eye examination and he still can't see. The video says it's bad, it's not good. His right eye, he still can't see anything.
Matt Brown believes the Aspinall versus Gane fight had the potential to be one of the great heavyweight battles. Brown admits the first round was clearly in Cyril Gane's favor and not particularly close, but he still believes the match was developing into a great fight and was disappointed it ended before fans could see how it would have unfolded.
What did you make of how the fight was going? Because now I feel like a lot of tales have been spun about him getting his ass whooped, like this was going to be some sort of 10-8 round for Cyril. What did you think and how did you think it was going to end up?
Well, it was going to be a 10-8 round. I don't think it was a very close fight, but I thought it was shaping up to be a hell of a good fight that I really wanted to see. So I think that could have been one of the great heavyweight wars, as a matter of fact. I think that was shaping up to be a great fight.
Matt Brown shared that he was curious about Tom Aspinall's strategy, noting that he didn't push for takedowns early. He believes Aspinall was waiting for the right moment to shoot and adds that if Tom had secured one, the fight could have become much easier for him.
I was interested to see Aspinall's game plan because it looked like his game plan was to stand with him. He didn't really push hard for any takedowns. And my guess is probably that he was just waiting for the right time to go for the takedown. And, we got to assume that if he was able to land the takedown, it'd probably be a much easier fight for him.
You think he wins the rematch?
I would still put my money on Aspinall, but if his game plan is going to be to stand with him, it's kind of a 50-50,
On the other hand, Henry Cejudo believes Cyril Gane wasn't intimidated by Tom Aspinall and showed more composure in the fight. He feels Tom seemed overly eager to get a quick finish because of his past first-round victories, which made him rush for the knockout. Cejudo notes that while Aspinall landed some clean shots, Gane's calmness, movement, and willingness to take risks made the difference, and he adds that the eye poke was unfortunate but part of what happens in the sport.
Man, Cyril Gane did not he was not afraid of Tom, and it looked like Tom was antsy to kind of get the finish a little bit because he's been so accustomed to finishing everybody that he was almost racing for the knockout, and he did clip Gane, but Cyril Gane's composure was different. His movement, his composure, and the fact that he was taking chances was the difference in this fight. There was that eye poke in that fight. Unfortunately, this is that happens. And it's the same referee that happened with me, happened with him. So it just don't take much, you know.
Henry Cejudo gives Tom Aspinall the benefit of the doubt after the eye poke, admitting the injury looked serious. He understands why some people think Tom might have taken the easy way out to regroup, but believes that's unfair, especially since he's dealt with similar situations himself. Cejudo notes that Cyril Gane was having success, leaving Tom bloodied and struggling before the stoppage. He adds that Jon Jones is likely licking his fingers after seeing the fight, and feels Tom still appears to be a one-round fighter for now.
But I'm saying, like, Tom, you gotta take him for his word. You know, he did get papped up. I could see why people are saying that he possibly took the easy route out, because maybe to regroup. But I mean, it is what it is, bro. I mean, that eye is the eyes. I mean, fuck, dude, I'd be the first one to be hating right now, but because it's happened to me, you know, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, dude. You know, but other than that, man, Cyril Gane was putting in work. He had him bloody, he had him bleeding, he had him leaking. And then, you know, about a minute and a half left. I mean, the fight was pretty much, it was no mas. So overall, dude, the way that I see this fight, and I'm guarantee you, Jon Jones is licking them fingers right now. Man, right now, as of right now, Tom is a one-round fighter, bro. Like, I was curious to see him in that fifth.
Kamaru Usman defends Tom Aspinall, saying the incident wasn't his fault. He explains that what happened afterward and how it was handled caused most of the debate. Usman agrees with Henry Cejudo that the situation was complex, but says fans can be inconsistent in how they react, often changing opinions quickly based on emotion.
It's not Tom's fault. I would say this out of the gate. It's not Tom's fault. What then transpires after the incident is, I guess, how it was handled, the back and forth is and the same thing with you, Henry. I think this is the one thing that you're not understanding with kind of how the fans perceive things. We know MMA fans are wishy-washy at times.
Kamaru Usman breaks down the situation, saying that while the eye poke did happen, it wasn't Tom Aspinall's fault. He explains there were two key parts, the foul itself and the flow of the fight. Usman notes that Cyril Gane's fingers made contact while trying to create distance, which made the poke appear unintentional. He adds that the referee handled it properly by warning Gane to keep his hands closed and clarifying that further offenses could lead to a point deduction or even disqualification.
The eye poke did happen. And you have to look at two aspects of it here. One, the foul, and then two, then you look at the fight. The eye poke did happen, which was, at first it was kind of like, okay, my hands are on the eyeballs, and then you see kind of where they push in. Obviously in that jockeying for position, when Tom's coming in and Cyril Gane is trying to create distance, there was that. It's unintentional, and that's the moment where you are warned, please keep your hands closed, or the next one should be a point, and then potential another point deduction or disqualification. So the referee did his job in that aspect. Now, Tom took some time, looked at it.
Henry Cejudo believes Cyril Gane should be favored in a potential rematch after how the first round played out. He points out that Gane showed no fear of Tom Aspinall, staying composed, taking shots and landing his own clean strikes that left Tom bloody. Cejudo notes that Gane's movement and confidence were key differences and highlights that for the first time in his career, Aspinall attempted a takedown but couldn't complete it, which he says speaks volumes about Gane's performance.
Now, will a guy like Gane be the underdog? I don't think so, man. I think by the looks of that first round, Kamaru, like, bro, I'm favoring Gane in this next fight, this next rematch. I truly do, man. I'm legit switching my vote. The lateral movements what we talked about before, man. It was Gane's not afraid, bro. Like, fear plays a big part. It could be your best friend or your worst enemy. For Gane, he was not afraid of Tom. He was able to move in there, even take his own chance and stick him to the point where he had him bloody. The movements was a difference. Tom even tried to take a takedown, and it's the first time that he attempted a takedown and did not get a takedown. So that says a lot, dude.
Henry Cejudo also calls for harsher penalties to prevent eye pokes in the UFC. He believes the Nevada State Athletic Commission should step in and issue an automatic point deduction for the first foul, followed by a disqualification if it happens again.
But looking back at it now, like, what do you do with eye pokes? It happened to me, and it happens to everybody, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they need to step up and say, automatic 1 point, second time you do it, disqualifications, like, no more. Like, no more.
Moreover, Ant Talia praised Tom Aspinall for choosing not to continue at UFC 321, calling it the right move. He urged other fighters to follow that example and said those who poke eyes should face harsher punishment. Talia added that in his career, he never poked an opponent and believes penalties must be serious to stop this behavior.
What were your reactions to how that fight finished?
I think he did a great job with not continuing, and if more fighters do the same thing, I think we can prevent the same thing from happening again. Absolutely 100%. I think more fighters should do the same thing, and more fighters should be punished for behaving that way, and I do believe we're gonna stop with that whatsoever. I really don't understand. I had 33 fights and I never poked somebody in the eye, and I do believe that the punishment for that should be severe.
Jim Miller also talked about eye pokes in MMA and believes financial penalties would make fighters more cautious and help cut down on eye pokes. He thinks that if money is at stake, competitors will keep their hands in check and focus on clean striking to avoid accidental fouls.
We don't kick each other in the UFC. We don't kick each other to the head when the opponent is on the ground, because we lose, because they have a very good track record of penalizing people that do so. I believe that if we brought in fines, right? Hey, the warning is in the back. Like, if you're going to take my money away, I'm going to make sure that my hands are closed when I'm reaching out. I'm going to make sure that I don't poke somebody in the eye if you're going to take my money away. But like, they're not even they're not really penalizing people, you know? And the thing is a lot of the times when somebody gets poked in the eye, their chances of victory are super slim. Like, the person that gets poked in the eye very, very rarely wins that.
Andy Aspinall also suggests the UFC to strengthen its rules to prevent eye poke injuries, saying the current measures aren't sufficient. He questions if it will take a fighter being seriously hurt before action is taken, and stresses that the organization must step in to make sure what happened to Tom doesn't happen again.
The UFC have got some rules. What will it take to change those rules? Will it take somebody's eye being poked and falling on the floor? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it's not, but what does it take? And is it the money that, you know, people won't watch the fights because they're not as exciting, because the gloves are not as good? I don't know the answer. The old Pride gloves were different, but something, from my point of view, needs to be done in the sport to stop happening what happened on Saturday night in Tom's fight.
Meanwhile, Aljamain Sterling stands by his earlier comments on Tom Aspinall's reaction to the eye poke, saying his opinion hasn't changed despite criticism. He admits some people may dismiss his view because of his own history with fouls, but insists the facts remain the same. Sterling explains that once Aspinall said he couldn't see, the referee had no option but to stop the fight. He believed Tom could have handled the situation and moment differently, adding that while panic is a natural reaction, experienced fighters usually manage it better.
I made some comments on the Aspinall fight and how he handled the situation with the foul. And I think my opinion still stands. Yeah, you could say you don't like the messenger because I've been fouled and you guys think that I milked the injury, but fact still remains. When Tommy got poked in the eye, the first thing that he said was, "I cannot see." And we all know when you are fouled, you cannot say those words, otherwise the ref is inclined to stop the fight, because that is just the way the rules are written. And so, with that said, I think he should have handled the situation differently, and I think everybody will agree with that. You don't say those words. And of course, it's a natural reaction. You get poked, you go, "Oh, I can't see, I can't see." Okay, but we're professionals. We've been here before. We've seen multiple fights like this. So we got to handle it as best as we could. And maybe that's what probably happened with Tommy. Who knows?
Aljamain Sterling makes it clear that he never questioned Tom Aspinall's integrity and fully understands why he chose to stop. He says competing while compromised against a fighter like Cyril Gane would have been nearly impossible. Sterling admits his earlier remarks were partly in jest, acknowledging that the fight was already becoming difficult for Tom.
Again, I don't know how badly hurt he was. I've never questioned Tommy's integrity. I've never questioned any fighter's integrity. But I do like to make fun of certain situations because I've gotten a very unfair share of flack from a lot of fans. I completely get where Tommy's coming from. You can't fight compromise like that. And thankfully, Tom was smart enough to understand I can't win a fight like this against a guy like this. And again, yes, I said the fight looked like it was starting to get tough. A busted nose early on. A lot of people have him as a big favorite. I think a lot of the stuff I say still stands.
Curtis Blades and Corey Sandhagen also broke down Tom Aspinall's eye poke, with Sandhagen pointing out how deep the finger went and admitting it looked worse than he first thought. Both agreed that while eye pokes can happen accidentally, some fighters seem less concerned about avoiding them. Blades mentioned that certain fighters even admit to using such tactics, though Gane doesn't have that reputation. They both concluded the poke appeared accidental, but still extremely damaging.
Look how far it goes into his eye on the one.
When you slow it
the
down,
one
it
looks
looks
nasty.
Worse. Yeah.
I know, because at first I was like,
eye.
I don't know, man, they ain't look that bad. But then it was like, ooh, dude.
Yeah, that one looks bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's nothing you could do with the gloves. I think some people just do it though.
Yeah.
I think that some people just poke people in the eyes more than the other people, and they don't really care.
I've heard other guys like openly, like Derek Lewis, he's openly said he will eye poke you or kick you in the balls just to get a break.
Has he poked a bunch of people in the eye?
No, it's not like he doesn't have a rep of this. He's not John Jones Jr.
Yeah, I don't think ever poked anyone in their eye.
Because you have really good hand placement also. Because you know,
I think it's because I give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me try to not poke this fool in the eye.
It was incidental because he was like hosting. He tries to bring it back. Doesn't look like he drives. Oh, there it looks like he drives into it. Yeah, that looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad, man.
The slow-mo's bad.
And that wraps up today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more UFC updates.